having a good day. Today we're here with the Fukuoka Champions League Finals, which will be our Temporal Fates format in the US. We're going to be seeing Lugia VSTAR Cinccino up against Arceus Alolan Vulpix VSTAR up on the right. These two decks have battled through 3,200 trainers to make it to this stage in the game, all playing a best of one tournament until they've reached this final stage of the tournament, where they'll be playing one final best of one match to determine the champion of the Champions League. Both these players have qualified for the World Championships through the top four, so you will see these guys once again at the World Championships. And these two decks, I definitely aren't the decks that I expected to see here in the finals. So let's have a good time and see what comes of it. The opening coin flip is going to be quite crucial for both players. If Lugia wins the coin flip and has a Lugia in the active spot and is able to attach a basic energy, not basic, but like non-double turbo energy, the turn 2 220 damage is going to be very crucial to just take out an Arceus for free, take out a Vulpix for free, whatever, while simultaneously setting up the board. But again, Lugia is a little bit of a pile, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to find those pieces. We're going to have to find Jacques or Ultra Ball Raw to put those Arceus into the discard, or a research or something, because there's no Burnett anymore. No Burnett. You have Aroma still, which is fine, but no Burnett in the deck whatsoever. And the Arceus player on the other side is going to be doing their best to establish a double Vulpix train and hope that the Cinccinos can't beat through it reasonably as well. It looks like the Arceus player has won the flip. They get to start, so the game is a little more even, I think. The Arceus player does need to go first to get Arceus energy down to even, I think, stand a reasonable chance in this matchup, because Lugia is very powerful. I think we have a mulligan from the Arceus player. Prize cards. Jet energy, gift energy, that's 2. Ultra Ball is 3 energy, is a little significant. Boss and a Great Ball. So I think the 3 energy is a little bit significant, and they're not early on either. So we're working with probably 14 energies in general. We're going to see double prime. We're going to see Prime Catcher, double Alolan Vulpix. This deck is very similar to what Alex Shumansky actually won at UIC with last year once rotation happened. So it is a little bit funny to see things go full circle when we come back around to a rotation again, when cards like Alolan Vulpix might have been potentially slept on, but now they're here and they're able to do a ton of damage once again when decks aren't ready for them. Now, will we be ready for it in the West here, over in Europe, or will players be able to copy Arceus, Alolan Vulpix, and take it to another strong finish? Let's see these 7 cards. Giving up a mulligan is obviously not what you want to do. Giving up a second one, I believe. Not what you want to do here, either into the Lugia on turn 1. Giving them 2 additional resources to find a Lugia and a way to put Arceus into the discard is not really what you want to do here, but I mean, what choice do we have? The heart of the cards is the heart of the cards. Yeah, I mean, we just want to open decent cards. The worst starter here would be Radiant Gardevoir, if it is in the deck. Radiant Gardevoir is also a way for us not to get one-shot early on. I think I see an Arceus plus a double turbo energy. So you basically have everything you need. And there's an Airy in the hand as well for turn 2. So turn 2, you can go ahead and Airy and try to hit some of the important cards out of Lugia's hand. We see the Professor Turo, a Switch, Super Rod. Some of the more important cards, potentially. Turo could be important. Ox the Sharon's Care in this situation. We'll take the 2 mulligans. Sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit. I've been streaming for a little bit. And let's get this show on the road. Let's begin. The finals match, one of these 2 players will be the champion of the Fukuoka Champions League. The other player, second place. But no worries. Second place isn't bad. They're both qualified for the World Championships. It's a party regardless. I think there's waiting for the start signal. And any day now. No worries. I think they set the timer. I think 25 minutes is the clock. They're waiting. There's a little bit of an announcement to be made here. I'm being baited. Why are they baiting me? Oh, there might be a crowd, so they might be just like hyping up the crowd. They might have changed some of the tables to a seating area. In the meantime, both players begin. I think finals is... No, it is timed, okay. So we're going to go ahead and see the start. Nice and simple. I think it's just going to be an attach the Nest Ball. Probably seeing if we can get a Bidoof out and running. Maybe a Radiant Greninja. There's Radiant Greninja. Are those heal energies? Prime Catcher in the deck. What does that energy actually do? Pokemon TCG Special Energy. Let's go look that up. I actually don't know what that one does. They're talking about it on the stream, but that doesn't help me whatsoever because I think it's Medical Energy. Heal 30 damage from this Pokemon when you attach from hand. That 30 damage could be relevant, but against Lugia, I don't think it necessarily is because there's a lot of situations where you're just going to get one shot. So the heal of 30 damage doesn't actually affect the game state too much. But it is a cool inclusion because the whole deck it looks like just Arceus and Alolan Vulpix. There doesn't seem to be any other partners. So you just want to keep these Arceus alive as long as possible. You want to keep the Vulpix alive as long as possible. Just chain these guys if you can. Arceus, seeing the board state. Prize checking has been done. A little bit of counting here. Let's see what the rest of the hand looks like. There is a double turbo in hand. Seems like a pretty good turn to attach that. There's a V-Star already in hand as well. So we have an attack for following turn. Attach to the active and pass. Cool. Let's go ahead and draw for turn as the Lugia player. We got a couple extra mulligans. Let's see what we're working with. There is an Ultra Ball. There's a Aroma. There is a couple of Ionos in hand. So I think it's going to be an Iono for sure. We're going to see the flip here. Didn't see what the result is going to be, but we'll go see it, see when he does a deck search. We're just counting energies real quick, just making sure what we have. And normally in Lugia, you don't really have to count the energies a lot of the time. But with this new Cinccino build, you kind of have to because Cinccino requires a ton of energies to attack. Like 3 to 4 energies minimum on a lot of big attackers. So if you go Cinccino, you're using 8 energies before you even get to play the game. So you need to count those before you can even like game plan how you want to close out the game. So in this situation, if you get a Tails, you go grab a Lugia, put it into play. If you get a Heads, you go grab a Archeops, put it into your hand. Get an Ultra Ball in hand, go ahead and get it. So we have the Archeops in hand. We're going to go ahead and get that. Where you see the Ultra Ball coming through. Probably pitching the Archeops for sure. And maybe a research. I don't think you can research that hand. Yeah, I agree. Let's go ahead and do this. Grabbing Lugia, putting it into play. Not opening Lugia is a little bit unfortunate because if you do open Lugia, you're able to read the wind on turn 1, building your hand up to 9 cards potentially off the back of this. Archeops, another Archeops entering the hand. Interesting. Cinccino does have Call for Family, so you can go ahead and grab yourself the Lugia that way. Some very unlikely, yeah, Chris, some very unlikely decks here in the finals. Not what I expected, but, you know, they're here, right? Attached Gift Energy seems pretty reasonable to the Cinccino, and we can Serena away the other. Yeah, that's fine. I think it's reasonable to discard both the Archeops and the Serena, or the Iono. Drawing 2 more cards. Ideally, we see another Cinccino if we can. Ultra Ball for Cinccino works too, but I think it's just Call for Family angle. I'll link it after. I'm right now recording it as well, so I don't really want to minimize the stream at all. It's a difficult stream to find, but if you find my VOD, you can see the stream from a different day. Call for Family for 2 is a pretty good 2. Cinccino and Lugia on the board. So next turn, if this Arceus comes up and attacks and takes out the Cinccino that's currently in the active, Gift Energy is going to proc. We're going to see a ton of new cards. Ultra Ball is already in hand, meaning that if a Cinccino or a Lugia VSTAR gets drawn, this upcoming Arceus is just going to bite the dust. The Arceus player doesn't really have a great chance besides going into the Arceus. You have to attack with Arceus. I don't think there's much of a choice here. And I think you can go ahead and use the Airy. I think the best play is to go ahead and use the Airy to see if you can hit something important out of the hand. Maybe an Aroma, maybe an Ultra Ball. Like, that's your best bet, I think. Like, there's going to be a Gift Energy proc regardless of what happens. So you have to accept the fact that your opponent's probably holding onto a grip of supporters, given that they Ultra Balled away a Research, and Serena away and Iono, they probably are holding on to either another Iono, a Research, um, something. So I think you can start your turn with the Airy, see what's going on, before you make a decision with Starbirth. We're going to go ahead and hit the Ultra Ball here, which is actually quite a crucial hit. Because off this gift energy, if we don't see a Lugia VSTAR or a Cinccino, the game could get a little bit dicey. But we're going to go ahead and see the Arceus go ahead and grab the V-Guard energy, which I think is kind of irrelevant this early in the game because the Cinccino comes up and blows you up. It doesn't change the state of the game. And I think you got to grab a supporter for next turn. Like, this hand is garbage. You got to grab like a Judge, an Iono, something. Because you're working with a lot of blanks. No reason to shuffle here. I would just swing. You have the time. I think he just said he's going back in. Attach. Bench the Vulpix. Yep. And we'll go ahead and swing for the knockout on the Cinccino. The gift energy does proc. It is not an optional thing, so gift energy does proc. You get to draw 3 cards before you promote. Yep. Let's go ahead and proc that. Draw 3 cards. Lugia, absolutely broken deck. Super Odd gets taken from the prize cards. I don't think that's super relevant for the state of this game. There's the gift. Yep. Snorlax, Lugia, Collapse, all kind of useless. I think you still throw up the Cinccino because the Cinccino one-shot this turn just wins you the game outright. Ooh, okay, we're not risky. We're playing it safe, apparently. Okay, we can bench the Snorlax. Attach double turbo seems fine here for the turn, and then I think we just... I mean, we're slamming the Iono regardless, right? Like, you just attach the double turbo, and you slam the Iono here. I think benching Snorlax is completely fine also. But Iono your opponent to 5 seems pretty good here. They probably just grabbed the card from Starbirth they didn't play. So you know there could be something in that hand that you could capitalize upon. The one good thing about Arceus decks is that they're never going to lock out your Lugia. So this Lugia does get 2 turns to live. But if there's a boss's orders on the Cinccino, then the game gets a little bit dicey. We're going to go ahead and see an Iono for both players. These are going to be 6 crucial cards. Let's see them. Therapeutic Energy off the top. Lugia VSTAR. There we go. Now we are rolling, ladies and gentlemen. Can't play out the cards from your hand. Just go ahead and do this VSTAR ability. Got to go with the Arceus. They're both in there. Just double check. Yep, you're in the finals. Make sure that you do everything a little bit more diligently. It looks like they gave them 10 additional minutes, 35 as opposed to 25 for the finals match. We can go ahead and use Lugia. I wouldn't put any energy on the Cinccino or the Minccino, because if this guy goes down, you are committing a little bit too much, I think, to something that isn't even evolved, and it's a free boss target. So I think you give your opponents, or maybe you put 1 energy on there, because then you instigate a boss target that isn't Archeops. Because if you don't put 1 on there, then boss Archeops becomes a line to make it so that Cinccino never gets one-shots on any of the big guys. So I think you can go ahead and go Cinccino or Archeops. Either you just power up the Snorlax completely, or you put an energy onto Cinccino. I think I would probably power up the Cinccino and just threaten it with a gift, which is, I think, completely, yeah, it's completely fine. Because now, if the Arceus player wants to boss up an Archeops, there's a Cinccino. Well, Lugia is going to attack you first, and there's a Cinccino waiting in response to take a one-shot. So you can never go double boss on Archeops the way this game is playing out. So we're going to go ahead and swing for 170. The game turns back over. We're going to see another Arceus VSTAR from the hand. Doesn't really change the outcome of the game too much. We're looking for a boss's order more than anything in here. Boss the Cinccino or boss the Archeops are both really good plays here. I think I would just take out the Cinccino. No, I would take out Archeops. I think cutting off the Lugia deck at its knees is a pretty good play. He did find the boss's orders. I think it's got to be Arceus. Retreating into a new Arceus is also fine, but that means we're going to chase the Cinccino here, I think, now. Could you just attach water? Yep, there's a Cinccino being chased down. And there's a free prize card being taken here. Gift energy does get to get procced. Going down to 4. We're just eliminating any way for this Vulpix to get knocked out later in the game. And keep in mind the Arceus deck just have plenty of ways to pick up the Arceus off the board with either Turo, Sharon's Care, or other resources. Yep, cool. Yeah, he wants to retreat into Vulpix after. Yep, exactly. I think after this, the game plan is to go into Vulpix, and if there's no Cinccino that hits the board this turn, then there's no answer into Vulpix following this turn. So Gift Energy gets procced, you get to draw 2. There's an Aroma. Reasonable. There's some unfortunate bad news for the Vulpix player. They're about to find out in just a second. There's a boss's orders in the hand, which is going to take this guy off the board. Heads, a little bit unfortunate, no other Cinccino being put into play. But you can put a Lugia V down and actually win this game in the War of Attrition, going Lugia Vs into these Arceuses. Because you're going to go ahead and attack here. Take 2 prize cards. The Arceus is going to attack here. Have to power up another Arceus if they can. Wait, it was heads. It was heads. You gotta get a V-Star. So there's going to be a little bit of a different dynamic that's going to play out now. But I think you have to shift your game plan into putting down Arceuses, into Lugia. So you put down the Lugia here. You attach the Therapeutic Energy to Snorlax. There's no reason the Therapeutic should stay in your hand. It's just a liability at this point in the game. So you just put that on a Snorlax. That's always going to go there. Yep, there we go. I think you go ahead and use the Arceus for 1. Put some energy onto the board anyway. This Lugia never dies on your board. So you can put a double turbo there or something like that. Interesting, we're going to fail it. I mean, so now if the Arceus does get bossed, the game is entirely different because Lugia doesn't take a hit. And the opponent goes into an odd prize race, meaning they'll eventually lose the race this way. Serena up the Alolan Vulpix. There's the knockout going down to 4 prize cards. Pretty crucial knockout there, because now the Vulpix can't threaten. Missing the evolve there was pretty important. I think we have to go back and do another Vulpix. Like, you have to go for it. Like, I think there's no other game plan here. The V-Star's in hand, so I don't think you can research either. So I think you have to just go ahead and put the Alolan Vulpix down. The unfortunate news is that there is another boss's orders in the hand waiting. See, this is good. Both players are checking discards. They're making sure they know what's going on. It is the finals. No need to rush the game state. This turn is where the Alolan Vulpix needs to hit the board. Attachment. And you kind of just have to pray that you don't get knocked out here. If you research away the V-Star, I'm sure there's multiple V-Stars in the deck, right? So there's no reason not to research it away. Like, no reason to be afraid. Just a research, not going to put the Vulpix V into play. I think he's decided that it's too late to commit to the Vulpix V. We're going to have to go for the only V-Star route, find healing cards, be able to pick up our board if we can. We're going to go ahead and Ultra Ball away Judge and Colossus Experiment, making it so we have no longer access to those pieces. Another Arceus V hitting the board. What's important to note is we just looked through the deck, and I don't think there's any more water energy left. And Super Rod is one of the prize cards. So at the current moment, we don't have a ton of ways to attack again. Like this Arceus in the active spot, if it takes a hit, like, we have to take a Super Rod out of the prize cards now. We're in a position where the Super Rod has to come out of the prize cards. And if the Lugia player just goes into a new V-Star, plays the same game that the Arceus player is playing, so if they go into a new V-Star and they're able to go boss onto the Arceus V that's clean, this game could be over right here, in my opinion. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 energy in the deck that could be attached that are not double turbo. So I think what you want to do, there's a jet in hand as well, so you get to preserve all of your energies without retreating. So you can attach both the mist and the jet from the deck. We're going to go ahead and use the other Archeops. Yep, attach jet from the deck. Don't do double turbo, please. Very good. Absolutely perfect. We're going to be able to jet up the other guy. Lugia VSTAR. There it is. In all its glory. Jet energy. Being able to preserve the existing energies. Absolutely crazy. 3 jet energies on a Lugia. The boss's orders onto the... Oh, Great Ball first. That's fine. Yeah, that's thin. Just grab anything. There's a Cinccino. Putting down another threat. It's really, really good here. Because now this Cinccino threatens the one-shot for game. Boss's orders up the Arceus. There it is. There's a knockout for... So an energy gets taken from the prize. I think there's exactly 4 energy cards remaining. However, there are some double turbos. So this means that the game is not completely over yet. There's a medical energy and there's boss's orders. No healing cards from the Arceus player. Not a single one. Every single card in the Arceus player's hand is a boss or research or a damage card. No Turo, no Sharon's Care, nothing. I think he's determining, what do I boss, what do I damage? It's going to be a research. I think we're unfortunately 1 turn too far behind because of the back-to-back bosses. Still no healing cards. There is a Super Rod now. So we can go ahead and Super Rod and power up our board. But I think it might be a little bit too late. A boss's orders or Serena will end the game from the Lugia player's side. And then from the Arceus player's side, they should have Super Rodded first to put the Arceus back into the deck before nest balling, because it is very crucial that we get to do that. Ultra Ball now, having to burn more resources than we needed to. The V-Star could have been useful. We'll go ahead and we're zooming. We're playing very fast. I think it's just going to be an attack. Double turbo, and attack per turn. 1 there, 1 there. The board is prepped up. All it's going to take is a healing card to keep the Arceus alive. Unfortunately, you can't heal both, so the Lugia player does get 2 turns to find a boss's orders, or 1 turn to find an Iono, along with Cinccino. There's the boss's orders. Serena, boss, and boss. And the Lugia VSTAR is your Champions League Fukuoka champion. Kind of a crazy sequence of events. But we have the Lugia VSTAR player taking the entire event down. What a match. What a banger. And it's over. Congratulations to the champion.